Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Robin's Nest. I want to touch on a couple things. I want to talk about the truck race from Kansas, number one, but I also want to talk about Haiden Deegan again. I want to do a follow-up to the last video that I made about him. Want to clear the air, as it were, so let's get into it. Alright, as usual, if you find my ranting interesting, you like to listen to it, you like to watch any of our other videos, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications, the works. So, let's get into this. So, I made a video about a week and a half ago about Haiden Deegan and his comments that he made after one of the Supercars, I think in Denver, where he told the fans to suck it. And, you know, I kind of got hammered in the comment section about that, and so I wanted to clear the air. I've thought about it. I've, spent some time reflecting on what I said and how I feel about the situation. And, a lot of nights I didn't get any sleep thinking about it. And I talked to my wife and we did some soul searching. And honestly, I think everything that I said about Haiden is true. But it's just true. Okay, let me just say this. Yes, I know he's fast. Yes, I know he wins races. Yes, I know he wins championships. Yes, I know that he's probably the best rider on a 250 right now. I know all of that. I've never claimed anything to the contrary. Yeah, I mean, there's no one that I can think of that can probably run with him on a heads up, 2 for 2. You put two guys out there on the... Put him and another guy out there on the track, he'll smoke whoever it is. 9 times out of 10. Yeah, I've got no problem admitting that. And, good for him. But it is objectively true that he acts like a spoiled brat off the track. You go out there and you tell fans to suck it because they're booing you because you just cleaned out your teammate. And by clean out, I mean, he didn't just knock him out of the groove, just stand him up. He knocked him off the racetrack, off of his bike. Okay, so it wasn't just like a rough pass. It was, he clearly took the kid out. Okay, that's another thing. I've been getting all these comments that you just don't. That's just how it is. That's how they race in Supercross. You don't know anything about Supercross. You don't know anything about motorcycle racing. Well, yeah, no, I do actually, because my dad did it and I grew up around it, so yeah, I know a little bit. I'm no expert, admittedly so. There are things that I would be wrong about, probably. This is not one of them. It is entirely possible to pass someone clean. Just because you're on 2 wheels instead of 4 doesn't mean you just go into the corner and clean a guy out. No one's going to do anything to him. That's been proven. Juju and Beaumare, they got into it a little while back, and ever since then, Juju's been singing his praises after every race. Oh, congratulations to Deegan, just kissing his ass like wholesale. Okay, and they got into a thing off the track where Juju, I think, doxed him, and then Deegan ended up slapping him in the helmet after one event. Did Juju do anything? No. No, these kids don't, man. And I don't know what it is, if it's because of Brian that they don't do anything, or it's the fact that they're still coming up through the ranks. 250 is not the main game, 450 is, and so they're still trying to establish themselves and get a good reputation so they can move up eventually and not rub feathers the wrong way or anything like that. I guess that's what it is. But I will say this, and I will die on this hill. When Haiden gets to 450s, okay, the crap that he gets away with on 250s is in all likelihood not going to fly. Okay, the guys on 450s, they're established. They're in the main game. Who are they trying to impress at this point? They're already there. Unless they're looking to switch teams or something like that. But I don't foresee him being able to stand up Cooper Webb or Sexton or any of those guys, and they're just going to take it on the chin and say, oh, well, shucks, It's just, it is what it is. No. If the dude comes in there and cleans you out, I don't care who he is, what his last name is. You go over there and you confront him after the race, and you let his punk ass know that kind of nonsense is not going to fly. Especially if AMA is not going to do anything about it. That the crap in Denver where AMA is like, well, we're not going to give him the win yet because we're going to investigate and see if that was a dirty pass. And of course they came back and they said, no, it was fine. He gets to keep the win and all that kind of crap, but because of who he is. That's all that was. Do I regret anything that I've said about him? Nope. Will I say it until his attitude changes? Yep. 100%. I don't care who you are. I was a huge Haiden Deegan fan growing up. Pulled for the guy in everything that he ran, from dirt bikes to off-road trucks. I even pulled for his monster truck team. Okay. Had Brian acted like a spoiled little brat, like his kids do, I never would have. I was all on board with pulling for Haiden and Haley both when they were coming up. But, they've both shown themselves to be spoiled little brats. So, I cannot make myself pull for people. You're 19 years old, and you're going out there on a stage and telling a whole bunch of strangers to suck it? Come on. I want to talk about the Kansas truck race, though. This past weekend that Carson Hocevar ended up winning. Lane finished second, and Byron finished third. So it was a great weekend for Lane until post-race inspection, when they claimed that the truck, something with the bed cover of the truck was askew, and so they disqualified him. And I was of the opinion that, well, they probably did that to put Byron in second, so then you have both of the Cup guys who were in the truck race finishing 1-2. And then a friend of mine pointed out, well, no, there's also the lawsuit from Front Row and 2311 towards NASCAR right now. And so it's just not really a surprise, that they would find something wrong with his truck. Could I be wrong? Yes. Am I? Probably not. It's no different than the nonsense with Parker's truck at Daytona. They wanted Corey Haim to win because Corey is factory Toyota driver. He's running the full season. He's championship eligible. Parker was none of those things. So obviously, in the whole story that came out from Charlie Henderson and how they did the inspection, where the inspection crew told them to do something about raising up the front of the truck, and then they measured the back of the truck while the front was raised up, and so obviously the back of it's going to measure low at that point, too low. And it's probably a similar deal. But like I've been saying, NASCAR is such a clown show of a series nowadays, and it's just the leadership. The racing itself in the Xfinity and Truck Series has been really good, but just the leadership is just terrible. The Gen 7 car is an absolute joke. They're going to Wilkesboro this weekend, which ordinarily I'd be excited about, and I am for the trucks and late models. But I think it's this week or maybe next week. One of these coming up weeks. I don't follow it as much as what I did, but it should be good, but it's probably not going to be because the car's so awful. And that leads me into Supercars. We're in Tasmania this past weekend, and all the great racing. Everything was good. Only problem I had with this weekend was Red Bull did what Red Bull normally does, or 888 engineering. And Brock Feeney won all 3 races. And it's a common theme in Supercars that 888 wins every year. They may not win every race, but they win every year, basically, the championship, regardless of who's driving. It doesn't matter. Shane left. They brought Will Brown in, and Will won the championship in his first year. So it doesn't matter who's driving the cars. They're going to win regardless. It's just going to happen. It's been that way as long as I've watched it. And that leads me to a point that I brought up this weekend when I was watching it with a couple of people is, why is there no cost cap in Supercars? There should be, because the only way that you're that much faster than everybody on a consistent basis, regardless of who's driving your car, is if you're outspending everyone 2-1. Okay, I think on average it costs about $3 to $4 million to run a supercar team. I may be off on that. Don't quote me on that. But even if that's the case, if you put a cost cap in place and you kind of clamp down on Red Bull's ability to spend whatever they want, then you may bring everyone in line with one another at least a little bit better than what they are now. But when you have just free reign to spend whatever you want, it's no different than in NASCAR, where Gibbs, Penske, and Hendrick smoke everybody on a consistent basis. Well, it's because they're able to spend whatever they want, and they've got way more money than every other team, especially with the factory support from Toyota with Gibbs, Ford with Penske, and the bow tie with Hendrick. It's a similar deal with Triple Eight. They've got unlimited resources from Chevrolet, which is ending this year, and they're going to go to Ford next year, but it's not going to be any different. It's going to be a similar deal. They're going to be Ford's flagship team because Walkinshaw Andretti United is leaving and going to Toyota. Which, by the way, they also, side note, they announced that Brad Jones Racing is going to be the second Toyota team next year. So that's going to be, if they run four cars like they did this year. So that'll be 4, 5, 6 Toyotas on the grid next year, which is exciting. Yeah, I don't know. I wish they would do something in Supercars to kind of bring everyone in line with one another. Also, something needs to be done about the disparity between Ford and Chevrolet. There's certain tracks that they'll go to where Ford just smokes the Chevrolets and vice versa. Tasmania this past weekend was a case of Chevrolet had an upper hand on everybody else. The race prior to that, Ford kind of did, and it's just there's got to be a way to bring them in line with one another. You don't have a good true test of who's actually the better team, the better driver, when there's a big gap between the makes. Maybe that'll be fixed tomorrow. Maybe that'll be fixed next year with Toyota coming in. I certainly hope so. We'll see though. But great racing. Go back and watch it. Also, make sure you sign up for Supercars streaming. You can find it on their YouTube page. I'll put the link in the description. I think it's it's either $7 or $8, somewhere in that ballpark per month, and it's certainly worth it. I think they have their Super View, I think is their actual streaming service through their website. But I think the YouTube option is the easiest option. And do yourself a favor and watch it. Now, this is the first year with the finals, which is basically first generation of the playoffs in the Cup Series. It's essentially the same thing. I don't know how that's going to play out. I'm not looking forward to it. Supercars has already said that this may be a one and done. But, they'll say that, but there's a reason they brought it in the first place. And I don't know if it's because they keep losing drivers to American Series, if they need to, kind of drum up some excitement or something and keep those guys there. I'm not really sure why, because it has not worked out for NASCAR. Okay, they've completely lost what fan base they did have. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, go check it out because the racing is next level. Next level. Good stuff. And so is BTCC, which, by the way, BTCC will be aired live on the new Racer channel in America for the first time. Now, they used to play on Speed Channel back in the day. Clips of BTCC races or highlights or what have you, but they never actually played it live. And so this will be the first time the Racer channel. Racer is a news outlet. They bought out MAV TV a few weeks ago, and so that was one of the first announcements they made, is that BTCC will be here in States live for the first time. And they raced at Brands Hatch this past weekend, and all three of those races were awesome, man. Beating and banging, but fair about it. Which Haiden Deegan should watch and learn from. Fair about it. No deliberately wrecking each other. There was a couple of wrecks, but nothing intentional. It's good stuff. Anyways, just wanted to set the record straight on Haiden and tell everybody how I actually feel, which is how I said I felt in the last video. Nothing's changed. So, hate me all you want, bash me all you want. My opinion will not change at all, period. And Haiden, if you see this, nothing personal. Grow up, man. Grow up. All right, that's it. If you like this, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, leave a comment, the works. If you are interested in die-cast cars, auto parts, t-shirts, hats, anything automotive racing related, check out our eBay page. I'll put the link in the description for that as well. We appreciate you guys watching. It means a lot. And until next time, see ya.
És 100 fölfele. 100 fölfele, jobb 2 tempó, 20-ra bal 2 tempó, 25-ra bal 2 tempó, 25-re bal 2 szűk, bal 2 szűk, és bal 2, majd 50-re jobb 2, itt a bal 2, és 50-re jobb 2, majd szűk 50-re jobb 3 az aszfaltra, szűk 50-re jobb 3 az aszfaltra.